The timing definitely was not sooner. Timing was Trojan.
Timing was Trojan. And for Caleb Williams, uh, I wonder if this was just a matter of him wanting to do his due diligence, make sure that he reviewed all the options, met with those coaches, and like any business decision, life decision, even if it seems as though there's one path that seems like the best or most obvious path, if you have other options and you have time, you might as well explore those options and make sure that you're not missing something.
Absolutely. And this is part of the new transfer portal NIL era in college football and in college sports more broadly. This is college sports' answer to free agency in the pros. So, yeah, why wouldn't you mull over your options? Why wouldn't you take your time? Like Caleb Williams was not costing himself money by taking his time in January. There's nothing that really changes that equation for him. It's where was the best place for him to play college football in 2022 as a bridge to the pros. So yeah, why wouldn't he take his time? And there's a parallel here that USC's head coaching search took 2.5 months, and it was a long, twisting, turning journey. And USC fans were very anxious and uncertain near the end of it all. But at the end, home run. And here we have the parallel. This was a 2-month journey. This journey began as soon as Lincoln Riley was hired by USC on November 28th. So here we are, February 1st, just over 2 months. And we finally get to the end of this road. And, over the past 4 days or so, I noticed on Twitter, there was a report from a WisconsinRivals.com writer who said Badgers are in a position to get this thing done. And hey, I'm not throwing shade at the reporter. I'm just saying, like, his reportage at the time led him to that conclusion that, wow, this was really attainable for Wisconsin. So there was genuine uncertainty in the USC camp. Since this dragged out so long, and Bobby Ingram, and Caleb Williams had friends and people that he knew in the Wisconsin camp, in the Wisconsin coaching staff. So the Badgers certainly seem to be moving their chess pieces in a way to give Caleb Williams every possible reason to make a Russell Wilson style transfer move. We remember that Russell Wilson transferred from North Carolina State to Wisconsin. It wasn't what we all expected, but it certainly seemed to be within the realm of possibility. And Mark, as you know well, we're now, after Lincoln Riley went to USC and Brian Kelly left Notre Dame at the top of his powers to go to LSU, like, the logical decision, the normal decision can't really be assumed anymore. Like, those were not, logical in terms of the larger arc and scope of college football history. Those were not normal industry moves for head coaches. So why would it be different for a player? The idea that the unexpected could happen, it has to be taken a lot more seriously now than it did just, 3 months ago before Lincoln Riley went to USC. Like, seemingly absurd things on the surface can't really be assumed to be as unrealistic anymore. So the idea that Caleb Williams would go to Wisconsin, it had some real traction, not to the extent that it was ever viewed as likely, but it had to be taken seriously in a way that probably no one would have taken it seriously before the Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelly moves in late November. It just feels like a whole new era in college football where people are going to make their own choices, and it doesn't have to fit the conventional wisdom for it to be taken seriously as a realistic consideration. So there was real anxiety among USC fans. And of course, with Jackson Dart going off to Ole Miss, that QB room was getting very thin. And so what if Caleb Williams went to Wisconsin? USC fans were trying to talk themselves into Miller Moss still in the program as a guy who could flourish. I mean, he has the star ratings and he has, I think, a lot of natural talent, but he doesn't have the reps, didn't have the seasoning. That was going to be a very difficult situation for USC if Caleb Williams left the Trojans high and dry. So the anxiety was definitely mounting among the fan base over the past several days. But just like the coaching search, ended with the home run.